Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3, the prediction. Knuckleheads, this one kind of crept up on us. It's Wednesday, the 7th of July. This thing goes down on Saturday, and I couldn't be more excited. I mean, this is a great fight. This is a great fight, and a fight that still, believe it or not, has, title implications. And it's crazy to me that a guy in Conor McGregor, who we've seen kind of disappear into his business and into boxing and reappear, is still in the mix, right? Is still in the title mix, And listen, a win here, I think, gets him a title shot guaranteed. But, who wins this fight, right? Who wins this fight? Look, I think we could talk about the ability and the talent of both guys ad nauseum. But I don't think that that's what's going to be the determinative factor in who wins this fight, right? I do want to mention, though, I think Conor McGregor's more explosive, definitely more of a fast twitch guy. Poirier, I think lasts a bit longer, better gas tank. Also a decent athlete, but not at the same level. Kind of middle of the road, mid-twitch, let's say. Dangerous leg kicks, I think Conor McGregor's going to have to adapt to that. I think Poirier's going to know that Conor's going to have to adapt to that and come up with something else. If he's not able to come up with something else, this ends up being a boxing match. And, we all know how strong Conor is at the front end of the fight and how strong Poirier is at the back end. So, I think those are the main things to look at as far as talent and ability and physicality, right? But I would argue that I think this fight rests mostly, right? Because they say, fighting is 80% mental, 20% physical. And I agree with that in this situation particularly. I think this fight rests on who has more to lose, right? And that's why I'm going to make the prediction the way I'm making it. You guys might laugh at me, but hear me out on this one, right? Hear me out on this one. I think if Dustin Poirier loses this fight, it's not a big hit on his career. We've seen him lose, we've seen him come back. We've seen him lose, we've seen him come back. He also doesn't have, as great as he is, and as popular as he is, he's no Conor McGregor. Nobody's Conor McGregor, right? This guy's the biggest star in MMA, one of the biggest stars in combat sports, period. So bear with me here. Despite the fact that Conor McGregor, had this whiskey empire and sold it for buttloads of money, and despite the fact that, he has lost, and he's gone into boxing and he's made a fortune. All of Conor McGregor's losses outside of Khabib, who retired, they never fought again, right? So that's an unknown commodity. He's avenged, right? We think of, we're talking about the big one, right? He's only lost a few times. We're talking about the Nate Diaz fight. He came back, he avenged that loss, right? And he sort of slightly lost his aura of invincibility in losing to Nate Diaz and his aura of eliteness and stardom, and then regained it when he beat Diaz in the rematch and showed he can adjust and showed he's got a brilliant fight IQ. He lost to Khabib, but won a round. I think the only guy who probably won a round against him, and didn't have the chance to adjust and come back in the rematch. But something tells me that Conor McGregor would do well in a rematch because I believe he's got a really high fight IQ. So my point is, despite the fact that he's totally loaded and can retire right now and it doesn't matter, what created his empire and what sustained his empire is fighting, right? And he's been able, when he's had, a conquest of his empire, to reconquer it whenever that happened, except with Khabib, he didn't get the chance to, so we don't know that. We don't know, what the result would have been. Most likely Khabib would have won, but we don't know. You can't count Conor out. So here's a situation now, right? It's first off, it's the first situation where he's in a trilogy fight. He's coming off of a loss, and I think he has so much to lose here, so much more than Poirier, because as I said earlier, Poirier's lost before, he's come back. He doesn't have the star power Conor does. He doesn't have the empire Conor does, right? And it's almost counterintuitive, right? You would think a guy with an incredible empire and so much money like Conor McGregor could just say to hell with it, doesn't have anything to lose. But I think that aura of eliteness, that aura of superstardom that comes with that eliteness, I think that's on the line in this fight. If he loses, listen, when he lost his last fight to Poirier, I don't know how you guys felt about it, but for me, I was just like, man, it's over. Like, this guy's, that's it. How does he come back from this? Now he's going to try to come back from this. If he loses again 2 fights in a row to Dustin Poirier, you guys, I mean, and that's not minimizing Dustin Poirier. He's a great fighter, but it's acceptable to lose to Khabib. To lose to Dustin Poirier twice will be disastrous, as would have losing to Nate Diaz twice, right? Because again, Conor is such a huge star. I think everything that Conor has, I know, stems from fighting, stems from this aura of near invincibility. And, of course, that's been tarnished a bit by the loss to Diaz. But again, he redeemed it. The loss to Khabib, which he didn't get a chance to redeem. And the last loss to Poirier, for me, was a huge hit. And I think I think this is it. I think this is it for Conor. I think if he loses this next fight, he might just sail off into the sunset. I really do believe that. Because he's living that silk sheets life. You know what I mean? So I think this is it for Conor. He's got to win this fight to show us that his head is still in the game, to maintain the aura of eliteness and superstardom that he has. I think if he loses this, it's a big hit on his reputation, and a bit of a hit on his legacy, right? Because this is a guy who finished Aldo in 7 seconds or something, 13 seconds, whatever it was. It's crazy. It's crazy. When I saw him get knocked out by Poirier, a part of me, and I'm not a fanboy, but a part of me was saddened to see that, man, this guy really is human. If he loses this next fight, he just becomes too human, in my opinion. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment below. And I forgot to tell you, I think he's going to win. I think Conor wins. I think he's got too much to lose. I think he has to win this fight. He must win this fight. Let me know who you think wins in the comments below. And I think he wins by decision. Let me know who you think wins in the comments below. Like the channel, subscribe, and join the channel. Just $9.99. You get to watch our fights on the channel if you join the channel. FightersRep 10, August 13th. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. We've got 7 fights on the card right now. Of course, 17 rather. Of course, that's subject to change. But some of the best strikers in the world and the best, most action-packed rule set in the world, the IKF's Unified Rules Kickboxing. Tune in, support the channel, get your merchandise in the link below. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this fight, and I hope you guys support the channel.